$30 billion. That's the estimate of how much cash was lost to unemployment fraud in California. But so far, the state has only committed $5 million toward investigating EDD fraud. As NBC4 I-Team consumer investigator Randy Mack reports, one local DA says catching the scammers will take a lot more money and perhaps a more serious commitment to justice.
We are experts at prosecuting fraud. We prosecute fraud every single day.
But Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer tells me, not like this. Not when some of the suspects are already behind bars.
We have death row inmates that say, you know, I'm out of work and so I need my check.
Just last month, Spitzer announced charges against several prison inmates and their alleged accomplices for unemployment fraud. They're among those who've raked in epic amounts of cash by applying for benefits they didn't deserve or using stolen identities to trick the government into sending debit cards loaded with unemployment funds.
We did a storefront prosecution where we have potentially tens of millions of dollars in fraud.
2 more people were arrested at that one Garden Grove storefront. Spitzer says the cash found there, while significant, still represents just a fraction of the billions taken from taxpayers.
What it will cost to chase that money, in my opinion, is very, very expensive.
Currently, Spitzer says the State Office of Emergency Services has committed just $5 million towards investigating potentially $30 billion in losses.
Jump in as you see fit.
Some state lawmakers want to prioritize $55 million in the state's budget to beef up those efforts.
To create and fund a coordinated task force of local and state law enforcement agencies to address this mountain of fraud.
Assemblymember David Chu is pushing for the money.
We've heard from DAs all over the state that they are completely under-resourced. They can only go after the most egregious cases.
If there's funding from the state of California to go after these fraudsters for EDD, we're all in.
But Spitzer tells the I-Team he'll wait and see if lawmakers' commitment matches their rhetoric. He questions whether the state will really look to recoup the money if the feds don't ask for it back, and so far, they haven't. He also says fraud is considered white-collar crime.
There's a commitment not to fill our jails with those who have committed non-serious, non-violent felonies, which is taking money from EDD.
Fraud has certainly led to millions of Californians going weeks or even months without their benefit payments. And while fraud is still considered a nonviolent offense, there is a violent component to it, because Spitzer says that financial stress can actually be one of those burdens that leads to more child abuse and domestic violence, things that we haven't heard a lot about under the stay-home orders because people have been isolated. He says those types of crimes are now spiking in his office as we emerge from the pandemic and stay-home orders are lifted, and more people are now reporting it. So he thinks there is a direct cause and effect between people suffering financially and some of the violence that may occur behind closed doors in households. Reporting live in Chino Hills, I'm Randy Mack for NBC4 News.